Welcome. Good afternoon to
What's
Wisconsin
up?
Foodie Live on this beautiful Arbor Day. Luke,
Yeah,
welcome. What's going
thanks,
on,
man.
buddy?
Man, I am just getting my feet underneath me from being out in West Texas.
Yeah.
Got hired to do a little bit of cooking, a little bit of canoeing for the University of Texas at Austin, and out on the Pecos River. It was gorgeous. But I gotta say, I had the chance to eat in Austin quite a bit when I was there, and it didn't really do as much for me as watching this episode. Being able to go back in time and think about Louis and like all that cheese hanging out at the Pioneer Keg up the street in Theresa, it's that's a hard experience to beat. What's up with you?
Shout out to the Pioneer Keg. I mean, that place. I wish I could have been there last night. From what I understand, they had a viewing party, and it got a little crazy. Tables broke, food was everywhere. It was man, they get wild in Theresa.
Theresa.
Well, it's good to have you back. I did this thing solo last week, man. So, and
Yeah,
I
how
think
did that go?
our viewership was at an all-time low. It
Okay.
was my mom that watched, and I think she got a couple computers going in the house for 2 or 3 extra views. But yeah, no, Polly was on,
Yeah.
and Polly and Chris were both on, and we devised Luke while you were gone. We devised a plan to go to Brazil next January. So
Yes.
we're working on that behind the scenes. So Foodie's going to Brazil with the Two Girls on a Farm next January. We actually, our plan was we devised a plan to do a whole season of Wisconsin Foodie abroad. Telling the stories of folks that have impacted places outside of Wisconsin that are from Wisconsin, or just whatever story connections to Wisconsin there are outside of Wisconsin. We thought that would be a really great season of Wisconsin Foodie. So just traveling the world, telling Wisconsin stories from abroad. What do you
I
think?
love it. I mean, like this last week, I paddled to the confluence of the Pecos River and the Rio Grande, and across the valley was Mexico. And it was almost like the third time that I've left the country. I mean, people don't really know this about me. Like, I've been in the Midwest for so long, and I really haven't had the opportunity to travel. So like anything sounds amazing. You want to go to Gary, Indiana? Sold. You want to go to, Motown? Great. I'm all in. You want to go to Hibbing? Fine. I don't care. I have this amazing wanderlust, and as a chef, I think it's super rare, to have been in like one silo
Yeah.
for the majority of my career. But yeah, baby, you want to go international? You let me know. I'll pack a swimsuit and a towel, and I'll keep this beard nice and trimmed up, and we'll go make TV wherever you say.
That's awesome. Well, speaking of trimmed up, we have a guest today.
Yeah, we
Um,
do.
we have our friend, none other than Mr. Joey Widmer. Joey, what's going on?
Ooh.
Oops, sorry. Oh man, we caught you there. Well, sorry.
Uh,
Oops.
just
Surprise.
answering some questions in my office from the employees, life of a
Uh,
cheesemaker. So
Joey, welcome to Wisconsin Foodie Live. Thank you for taking some time out of your day making cheese today. I know there's probably cheese not being made right now because you're here with us, but we appreciate it.
not a problem. Not a problem. Yeah, the cheese is made already today. We
Yeah.
started at 4:30 a.m. pumping milk into the vat, pasteurizing the milk, and made one batch of cheddar, 40-pound blocks of cheddar. So
Oh man.
now
Wow.
it's
If people have not been to Widmer's Cheese, hopefully after last night's episode, they will make plans very soon to go visit Widmer's. It has to be one of my favorite cheese making facilities in all of Wisconsin. It's probably the most unique that I've been into, where you can walk in to the facility and you've got the shop to your right, and then you just see the cheese making plant right in front of you. I mean, it's fantastic. It's the coolest. It's the coolest place I've been, in Wisconsin. It ranks up there, top 10 places. So I definitely you can buy the cheese there. They have got all the different varieties of brick. Hopefully you have the aged brick back. 'Cause I know when we were there was no aged brick. It was all sold out. So hopefully you guys have that back in stock.
the aged brick is back in stock. The traditional wash rind brick fully stocked, man. So if you want to come here today and get your aged brick fix, we have it for you.
Hey, when we hang up here, I'm gonna jump in my car and go up there. I'm gonna buy it before everybody else buys it, or else I'm gonna buy it and sell. I'm gonna buy it and sell it on the Wisconsin Foodie black market.
There
There
it
you go.
is.
There
I'm
you
gonna
go.
buy it all out and sell it on the Foodie black.
You might be
market.
able to find it on Amazon. But otherwise, you can hop on widmerscheese.com and ship it anywhere in the United States. So
Killer. You know, one of the places that we actually found Widmer's aged brick, when we were cruising to Detroit, we stopped in Ann Arbor because we both wanted to go to Zingerman's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zingerman's.
And
Okay,
Zingerman's Deli, like they're known all over the United States and the world for like having this collection. And it was much, much smaller of a location than I thought at first, because their reputation is so massive. But you know, I think at the Zingerman's Deli, we walked up, we were talking about Widmer's cheese, looking for it. And like the first question, do you remember what it was, Arthur, that the guy behind the counter wearing the Tigers hat, what was his first question to you when we asked for Widmer's brick? Are you guys making pizza?
Are you guys making pizza? That's right. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Are you guys making pizza? Like it was just that understood that if you're gonna make Motown pizza, pizza, you know, from Detroit, and you're gonna go through that process, like you are going to use Widmer's aged brick. Yeah, it's an amazing phenomenon, this thing that you guys have going up there. Can you talk me a little bit, Joey? Like, what's a day in the life of an up and coming cheesemaker, a fourth generation cheesemaker, look like?
well, I think in my case, I think I'm trying to keep this place as traditional as possible. When other cheese factories are getting larger and, trying to, getting commercialized, so to speak, my goal looking at this place is just try to keep things traditional, keep making the traditional, brick cheese, Wisconsin original cheese, and using those traditional methods of, how it was invented and how it's supposed to be made, and sticking to those old school recipes that my great grandfather, started with in 1922. So I think we really have that niche in the artisan cheese making community, making small handcrafted varieties. So yeah, that's.
Can you remember when you were much younger, being in the cheese plant with your dad making this cheese, and did you have any idea that this would be your path at that point?
No, it was just something I was born into. It's like you're born on a horse ranch, or you're born into a ranch. It's kind of a big part of your family, and it's always something that you're actively involved in with your family. I always explored other opportunities. I went away to college and kind of did that whole thing, but I eventually ended up back here because I realized how special of a business this is, and I wanted to carry on that tradition and really, just get to that 100-year anniversary, and not many businesses make it 100 years, especially kind of using those same methods throughout without making huge changes. And I think that's what makes our factory so special.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, and I guess one of the questions that I want to ask you, obviously, tradition is super important because you've mentioned that word. You've used it, tradition, tradition, tradition. What is it about that tradition that you love so much that compelled you to go to college, explore different career paths, and then come back home to kind of dedicate your life to furthering the tradition? What do you remember about it?
What do I remember? I just always remember being involved with my dad in some capacity and how much he dedicated towards the business, and just everything that he taught me, kind of carried through to what I wanted to do with the business. He didn't try to make any drastic changes with the traditional aspects of the business. So I that's kind of what I remember. Just making sure we're making a quality product, and not trying to be bigger than we really are. So
I love that. I mean, I think you get a lot of that. You see a lot of that in the local food, sort of this local food movement where you've got these smaller businesses and they see this popularity and they want to expand as fast as possible, and that ends up harming the brand more than doing good to the brand. And I give you guys a lot of credit for kind of keeping where you're at, keeping, I don't want to say small because you're not small. I mean, you distribute cheese. I assume you distribute cheese all over the country.
Yeah, we
Um,
distribute it, all over the United States, and more recently we're getting, a lot of inquiries for the Detroit style pizza. I would say the last 4 to 5 years, when we initially got requests for the Detroit style pizza, we had to do research ourselves because we really didn't know what Detroit style pizza was,
mm.
and started Googling it, looking into it, like, oh, it requires brick cheese. That's why people are calling us, because they know that we're one of the only factories that makes a traditional brick cheese. So we're honored to be a part of that movement, and
Well, yeah, that's great.
want to continue on that path.
Funny fact, I guess, about this episode is that, Louis did not use Widmer's cheese on their pizza, and we brought
What?
Widmer's.
No.
I know. We've got to make that connection happen. They used brick cheese from Wisconsin,
Okay.
and they bought it from a distributor. But like, since this episode went down, we've got to make this happen. We got to make this connection. But Luke and I, we did stop at Zingerman's to buy some Widmer's cheese, and we brought it to Louis, and we made a custom pie with Widmer's cheese, and that sucker was like, man, that was crazy. That was just an incredible piece. We blew everybody's mind there. Honestly, they were just freaking out about how incredible their
Don't
pizza
act
was
like you're not
with
impressed.
Widmer's cheese.
Don't act like you're not impressed. Exactly. And for so much of what they were doing at Louis, again, it was based in tradition, right? Like, this is how we've always done it. This is what we do. This is what was important to, grandpa and dad. And as they got, though, the thing about Widmer's, because I've actually made Detroit style pies at the cafe with Newski's bacon and then the aged brick. And I can't actually think of a better combination, quite frankly, for a Wisconsin Detroit style pizza than those two ingredients. But your cheese, as it breaks down in the heat, there's so much delicious butter fat in it. And that's kind of what, is talked about in the episode a little bit, that cheese dam. It goes and caramelizes that crust. So it almost shallow fries it. And the taste it's incomparable. I mean, and the folks at Louis, they tasted it too. They ate it. They actually devoured that pie. They're like,
Yeah,
oh my gosh, this is exactly
delicious.
what it was like. It was great.
Yeah, and I think Louis, like you said, is one of those places that really sticks to the traditional methods, the true tried methods of how Detroit style pizza is meant to be made. They stick to the ingredients and the recipe, and you can tell, it makes a better Detroit style pizza.
Yeah.
They aren't cutting any corners. So.
No, because it's a rectangular pie.
Yeah, I would definitely, exactly. Yeah, it took me a while, but I got it.
Jokes and jokes and jokes.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that was a great trip, though. We really enjoyed the trip, and I think a lot of the fun part about traveling like that is stopping along the way, and especially when we're out of Wisconsin. I mean, we're so comfortable and so used to the things and places around here. But to stop off and hit up a Zingerman's and all these different little cafes and food producers in a place like Michigan, we're so similar. The local food movement, while we're not one state, we all have very similar philosophies about food and products, and it's just really fun to explore what other states are doing and how they're getting the word out. And obviously Wisconsin's blessed with the food stories, the traditions, the history. There's not many states like what we're doing here. I think on the way home we took the Lake Express ferry there, but on the way back the waves were too shaky, so we had to drive to get back. And we were in Indianapolis, and when we stopped in Indianapolis, we were like, so what are you guys well known for? What's the food of Indianapolis? What are you guys known for? And somebody said tenderloin, and we said, oh, geez, tenderloin. You know, I mean, okay.
I didn't know that.
Whereas, you know, what's Wisconsin known for? And it's like, you know, pick one out of a list. I mean, we got, you know, cheese.
Cheese, brats, beer.
Yeah, it's just the list goes on. So, I mean, we are super fortunate here in Wisconsin to have all these great products and all these great producers like yourself, and the tradition and the history. We want to do everything we can to keep those traditions alive. It's so important to the fabric of our state and our communities here.
I got a question for you, Joey. What does like work-life balance look like for a guy who's, you know, coming into the fourth generation of a cheese factory? I would assume, like farmers, they are, you know, they're milking cows every day of the week. And for those of us who have grown up in the Midwest, like you hear how these farmers are kind of married to their farm, so to speak. It's a lifestyle choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
How does that work-life balance resonate with you? You know, kind of coming into this now and taking it as the fourth generation.
Yeah, I think the work-life balance can definitely be challenging at times, especially in the society that we live in nowadays, where you want to have your social life and not just go to work, you know, 24/7. So that can definitely be difficult. You know, people talk about mental health too all the time, and I think that's really important to, you know, to make sure that you get away from work and you take care of your mental health, which is what I try to do. I have other hobbies besides making cheese. I like skiing. Shout out to the American Birkebeiner. I do that race every year, so I always train for that. But I think it's also key to have good employees within your organization, which we do. We really appreciate all the people that work here and all the work that's been done the past 100 years. So shout out to all our employees. Thank you very much. You have to delegate responsibility to other people, so you're not, just so that everybody can have a balance. So I think that's important. But you do what you got to do when you're helping to run a family business. If stuff needs to get done, or you get a call that cooler's broken down on a Sunday on Father's Day, like it was last year, you take care of it. So stuff happens, and you just work through it. So.
What better way to bond with your father than trying to fix a cooler on Father's Day at the plant?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've met your dad, several times throughout the life of Wisconsin Foodie, and he's just such a character, such a big personality, such a character. What's it like following, in those footsteps? Do you feel like there's that, there's a responsibility to kind of keep up with what he's the kind of the table he's set, or are you looking to bring your own sort of vibe and personality to Widmer's?
I definitely have a different vibe and personality than my dad. I think he's very charismatic. He's probably more of an extrovert than I am. I'm a little bit more introverted. So yeah, I think I'm definitely bringing my own personality to our business, which I think our employees definitely notice in our management styles. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. You'd have to ask them. So we're definitely two different people. We're alike in some ways, but I think the one thing that I want to, like I said before, do what he did, keep the tradition of what we're currently doing, not try to change things too drastically. Not take over the place and go fully automated, making machine-made cheese, so to speak. But try to continue what we're doing, and don't screw it up, man. Please don't screw it up.
I hear that.
But I think just take one day at a time and try your best. And if a new idea comes to mind, like we came up with the new Matterhorn cheddar together, it's like, maybe it's time to think of a new product or kind of change what we're doing. And that was one of the ideas that we came up with. So we started working with another culture house, and we used our traditional cheddar recipe, but we started using these alpine cultures in conjunction with our home style recipe. And we were able to come up with the Matterhorn Alpine cheddar, which seems to be a pretty big hit so far.
Oh, that's great. That sounds delicious. I haven't tried it yet, but I cannot wait. That sounds awesome.
How much of your time, Joey, like making cheese is one thing, but like something that I think a lot of people take for granted is it's tremendously time consuming to market Widmers and keep the brand kind of growing and moving it forward. What does that schedule look like for you? Do you do a lot of like public appearances?
I'm getting more and more into it. Like this public appearance, I wasn't expecting this, but it's great for the company. It's great to get our name out there. But as my dad, starts to step away from the business and take more time away, I'm getting kind of put in that role more and more, and I guess I'm becoming a little bit more comfortable with it. When I first started 8 years ago, I would say I kind of was my dad would say, "You want to do this, public appearance?" And I would, no, you can do that. I'll just kind of stand back and let you handle that. So yeah, I think it's very important for any organization, to try to market and get your name out there whenever possible, and speak well of your company and talk about the history and tradition. So,
Well, it's
but
great to
yeah,
see.
Mark,
It's great to
what's that?
see younger cheesemakers starting to take over, like yourself. I think you're starting to see it a lot more, and I think that was a real dilemma there for a while to see if the younger generation was going to take over, where we're going to get jobs in these factories, we're going to take over for their parents, and I'm glad to see you doing that for Widmer's, because Wisconsin wouldn't be the same without Widmer's brick cheese, and to have another Joey at the helm is fantastic. Do you find, are you able to attract younger people to come work in the plant? What would you say your median age is for employees at Widmer's Cheese?
Yeah, lately we are getting some younger employees. I think so. Four of us cheesemakers are in our 30s, and then I just hired somebody that helps out with cheese making and also packaging, and he's now our youngest employee. He just turned 20, so I keep
Wow.
having to pinch myself because it's like I keep forgetting that I'm 13 years older than he is. I'll be turning 33 here in a couple months, so it's like, man, I remember when I was 20. So there's still a lot to learn at that point in life, and I feel like at the age of 33, there's still a lot to learn. But yeah, have some younger guys, which definitely helps because we're kind of all in that same mindset. We're millennials, so we kind of see things in the same light. We also have another cheesemaker that he's in his mid 50s, I believe, and he's been here for about 15 years. Another cheesemaker, he's a year older than I am. He's been here for 15 years as well. So, really appreciate what those guys do here, and wouldn't be able to do it without them. And they have so much experience after being here 15 years. It's like we're on the floor making cheese, and we kind of intuitively know what the other person needs or what needs to get done. So
That's cool. All right, will you apply to go through the master's program, the master cheesemaker certification?
I haven't yet. I've only been a licensed cheesemaker, I think, for 6 or 7 years.
Sure.
And you have to wait 10 years.
10, yeah.
Our other employee, Dustin Wallendahl, he's like the head cheesemaker, also assistant manager here. He is working on becoming a master cheesemaker. He has to apply for the process, but I think he's been licensed now for 11 or 12 years, so he's going to work on getting his master's. So
that's great. So do you plan on it? Like once you hit that 10-year mark, that decade mark, are you going to jump in? Cool.
I do plan on it, and I think I'm going to go right for the brick cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense to me.
Me too.
Outside of Detroit pizza, like, what, how do you like to eat your brick? Maybe this is a good question for you too, Luke. Is it a good sandwich cheese? Is it, what are some good applications for brick cheese outside of Detroit pizza?
I eat it right off the block. No, it's mild brick cheese is a great cheese for melting. So grilled cheese, obviously pizza, like you said, but I'm not real big with pairings. I'm not a big pairings person, and wine, but I do know that our age brick, which is the wash rind, would go well with like a dark beer or a red wine. Um, and the mile brick, I don't know. I think Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin paired it with a cider once. So let's say we pair it with a cider or a bush light, a bush latte. So, yeah. No, the Milo brick is, one of those it's a more bland, mild cheese. So I think it's kind of universally accepted, and, you can eat it however you like it.
Yeah.
But great cheese for melting because of the butter fat content and full fat of the cheese. So
I have a gig coming up with Dairy Farmers where we're going to go to Chicago, and we're putting together this amazing and exquisite cheese board pairing. And of course, I was like, Widmer's has to be on there because you guys represent something that's unique and different, and it's yours. And I love the tradition. It's a story that we can talk about, and people will interact with it, and they will want to try it and taste it. Apricots. Actually, where the dried apricot was the fruit that really, really worked well with the Widmers. Because it's got like some of that like natural tannin in there. It's sweet. It balances the butter fat really nicely, but it kind of stays on your palate and lingers.
Sure.
It was lovely. And then apples, because the butter and the richness of that, we normally associate that with cheddar, but in this case, it really, really works with that Widmer's. So, my suggestion would be to everybody at home, mix it up, try it for yourself. If it's Busch Light that makes you feel good about it, like they might do at the Pioneer Keg, great. If it's, what were some of those dipping sauces that we got with the cheese curds at the Pioneer?
I think for both the cheddar and the brick, he had marinara sauce and then also ranch.
Right.
Because everybody dips everything in ranch.
Yeah. Welcome to the Midwest, baby.
Right. Maybe nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with ranch. Okay.
Yeah. A honey mustard might go well with the curds as well if you're into that. So.
Yep. But, nice.
And those were they brick curds that we were eating?
I think he had the brick curds in the cheddar curds, if I recall.
So good. Oh my God. Decadence, right? Just a brick curd dipped in ranch. I don't, to be honest, I like a straight up curd. I don't like it fried. I don't like it dipped in anything. I think the curd is best eaten, obviously right out of the bat. But if you can't get out of the bat, you got to get out there at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, get that freshly bagged curd where it's still warm and salty. There's nothing in the world that beats that, and everybody talks about fried cheese curds or cheese curd. When you talk about cheese curds, they automatically assume that you're talking about fried cheese curds. But I think that kind of takes away from the curd a little bit. It's to me, it's like a well done steak. I really want to taste the flavor of that curd and the freshness, that as soon as you can get it. I mean, I remember, I think this happens at every cheese plant, but those old school dudes will just show up and they know exactly when the curd is ready to go, and there'll be like a line of people just waiting to get that curd, and they know what's up. That is the jam. Get that curd early because that is the best way to eat cheese curds, in my opinion.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you're lucky; you just get to dip your hand in there and just grab a couple of curds, and that's a little snack for you.
Yeah, I always do a little bit of a what's that called? Quality control with the curd. So
yeah, you have to
make sure it meets the standard of quality. So.
Oh, that's fun. How much cheese do you think you eat in a week? Remember when we asked Fuzzy the baker how many brat patties he ate on the West Side Baker, and he's like 4 of these a week, and that was his go-to. That was his food. That's what he did. How about you, Joey? How much cheese do you eat in a week?
That's a good question. Probably more than is dietarily recommended by a nutritionist. I don't know. I don't know. I eat a decent amount of cheese. Yeah. And,
you are training for the Berkey-Biner, so that's perfectly acceptable to.
I can get away with it. Get away with it. Yeah. I actually keep a block of brick cheese in a fanny pack while I'm doing the Berkey. So.
No way.
No,
Do you really?
I don't.
I was gonna say
my race fuel. Oh, that would be a bad idea, I think. Fried cheese curds. I'm saving these curds for later, man. Yeah.
Oh man, that you got to do that this year. We'll contact the Berkey marketing team, and maybe they can do something with the
There you
cheese
go.
curd racer.
Little cheese curd snack packs.
Yeah.
Energy
Well,
packs.
Linsmeyer from Ruby Coffee, he's a Birkebeiner fanatic too. Like, and that sport specifically, I don't want to say fanatic in like a bad way, but like for y'all who don't know, the American Birkebeiner is a big deal, and it takes crazy training. It takes crazy dedication. It's what, 50K?
Yeah.
Is that what you kick out a day? Yeah, that's a lot. But yeah, I'm sure between Jared and you guys could set up. I mean, we could do coffee and cheese curds up there. Man, oh man, Wisconsin Foodie, we could kill it, Arthur.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
We need to go to Brazil.
Sounds like a good combo.
Yeah, we should. Let's get on that one. We got a message, Joey, from Glenn. He says years ago I was lucky enough to have Ralph pull fresh cheese curds for him. Nothing like it. Did you guys have a cheesemaker, Ralph? That's there.
Ralph would be my great uncle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's part of the second generation. Honestly, I'm not just saying that because he's one of my family members, but he's probably one of the greatest men I've ever known.
Wow.
So yeah, he was a World War II veteran. He was drafted at the age of 27 with a bunch of 18-year-olds, and he ended up on a minesweeper. And then he got scarlet fever while he was in the war, almost passed away from that, and ended up living. And he ended up surviving World War II, and then came back here and it was very dedicated to Widmer's cheese cellars. So it was a big part of his life. So
now, what a story that is. Can you imagine being a minesweeper but almost dying of the scarlet fever instead of a landmine? That is just that's wow.
And then being drafted at the age of 27.
Yeah,
he was one of the.
Especially at that point when you're feeling a little older. I mean, 27 years now is different than I'm sure 27 then. I mean, I'm sure he was, not as spry as those 18-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Joey, tell me about like your marketing platforms. I want to know about your social media. What does it look like? What do you do with for the social, for the gram, for TikTok? Are you making TikToks, making cheese? What does this look like?
I think from an age perspective, I missed the window on TikTok. I did download it during the start of the pandemic, and I think I spent like an entire day on it, and then I deleted it. But anyways, let's get back on track here. Okay. My sister handles most of the social media with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and does a really good job. My mom and sister, Penny and Hannah, currently are doing the 100-year history. So they're going down to our local library and collecting old photographs of the village of Theresa and how they correlate to our factory. So they've been posting pictures every day since it started January 1st, just to kind of commemorate our 100-year anniversary and bring that history back to life. And my great uncle Jim Widmer was also he worked at the factory, part of the second generation. He was also a photographer, so they're using some of his photos as well on our Facebook page and Instagram. So
I think I saw today's like there was a fire like right next to the cheese factory, like the flour factory or something caught on fire. And it's a cool little timeline to follow along with. Like, I love that old school perspective. And, your pops was talking about when we were hanging out at the tavern about how Theresa was kind of this pass through for people going from Milwaukee. Was it to Door County? Is that where they were going?
I'm trying to recall. Most likely.
Yeah. Way back in the day. Yeah. Or the North Woods. And like how it just kind of progressed into this beautiful little community that happens to house one of the most OG and swaggerific cheese companies in all of the United States, if not the world. So nice work on that. That storyline is super compelling. because that's what chefs like me or consumers like me are always looking for, a way to connect with our food. So thank you to you and your mom and your sister and your pops for making that story available to all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's at.
And if you haven't been to Theresa recently, it's definitely worth a visit. I mean, make sure you plan it sooner than later to stop up at Widmer's and then head over to the Pioneer Keg Tap. What was that? Pioneer Keg?
Pioneer Keg, yes.
Yes, sir. You know, make a day out of it. I mean, it's just like coming into those towns like that. It's just, and if you can hit it on the right day where it's just like you've got, you know, it's warm, it's sunny. You can walk from that cheese plant right to the keg, and I'm sure there's what else is there to do? What are your suggestions if somebody is rolling into Theresa for the day? What would you suggest they do?
Well, I'll have to shout out also Confections for Any Occasion is our local chocolatier run by Joel Bernard. He also sells our cheese. He has Cedar Crest ice cream. He has his own chocolate. He has a ton of old-fashioned candy. So you have to check that place out as well.
How did I
We
miss
also
that?
have another bar, Scooby's. If you're interested, you can go in there. Shout out to Scooby's.
What up, Scooby?
Scooby's. So,
Scooby Dooby Doo.
we have a Shell gas station. I'm trying to get Quick Trip to come in. I would like a Quick Trip here.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want a Quick Trip?
If I run out of bananas, I could just run down to Quick Trip and get a couple 2-tree bananas.
So, 2-tree bananas.
Yeah, but other than that, we have a nice park, River's Edge Park. Theresa is really small, so just a small community. We have Solomon Juneau founded Theresa in, I don't know what year. I'm not gonna try to guess. A long time ago, but he also founded Milwaukee, and Theresa is named after his daughter Theresa. So I think he had 13 children. It was in the teens. So
wow, that's prolific.
So yeah, there's a lot of history here.
So break down a piece for me, because actually I was going back and forth with some people at Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin, and I was trying to hold space for your pop's pronunciation of Theresa. How do we really say it? I mean, I want to hear from the horse's mouth, and in this case, you happen to be the horse. How do we say where Widmer's is produced?
Depends who you're talking to. So as a local, and I'm talking to another local or someone that lives in Dodge County, I'm going to say Theresa. From what I've been told and from what I understand, the Germans came here, and with their accent, they started pronunciating it Theresa. But there's like 3 different pronunciations. We have Theresa, which is probably how it should be pronounced, Theresa and Theresa. So, yeah, it can be a little complicated when you're explaining to somebody where you live. I'll say I live in Theresa because they're not from here. You mean Theresa? Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, that's great. I love that. It is truly a Wisconsin and Midwestern thing to not be able to have one singular pronunciation of a community that is so instrumental and iconic to the identity of the place. Green Bay.
The more modern hip name would be T-Town.
T-Town. Nice.
T-Town.
Going to Scooby's in T-Town. I like it.
Put T-Town on the map.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, Joey, man, I adore everything about what you are doing up there. I think it's amazing that you and your family are carrying on this traditional business that has defined Theresa for 4 generations. And, you're finding ways to actually grow this Wisconsin identity that I don't know if people really understand. I know we kind of hit it a little bit when we were talking about the Detroit style pizza earlier, but like as a kid who's growing up in Theresa or Lafarge or Hale's Corners, or Ogdensburg or any of these small towns that we visit, the fact that people can point to the back of a label and say Theresa and know that there are amazing people like you kicking out products that people all over the United States and the world can identify and like hold dear to their hearts, that's super important work, man. It really is. And so, my whole heart is extended to you and your family. And I think it's such a celebration of who we are as people to be able to have you here to talk about what your day-to-day looks like, to hear your love for the cheese making process, and quite frankly, the traditions of your family, which is why you do what you do. One quick question. What did that conversation sound like when you were coming back to Theresa? Was it Joe and Mom calling you on the phone and being like, yo, your time in the city is done, you got to come home now? Or was it like, I'm kind of feeling like I'm vibing on this cheese making thing? How did that come about?
I never really fully left. I always came back frequently to like almost every week to visit because I went to school in Milwaukee, which is only 40 to 50 miles south of Theresa. So I came back all the time. I was still, kind of somewhat involved in the cheese business. So I never really left, physically or mentally, if you will. So they didn't have to call me up and try to bribe me to come back. So it was my choice.
Awesome.
So yeah,
good choice.
And they never forced me into it either. They always said it was, it's your choice what you want to do. If you don't want to do it, we completely understand. So they were very great parents, great supportive parents. So thanks to them.
That's awesome.
That's great. One thing I wanted to mention too is we so we have a Facebook group as well as a Facebook page, and to make sure we don't get spam, I always make sure people answer 2 questions before they come into the group. One is, do you watch Wisconsin Foodie? And the other one is, what's your favorite cheese? And I would say that, I mean, we've got more than probably around 6,000 people, and I've seen, maybe half of those people, or I feel like it's half, say Brick is their favorite cheese, which is incredible, right? I mean, people love Brick cheese, and so keep up the good work, Joey. Have fun tonight at the Brewer game, and
Thank you.
the rest of your shenanigans this weekend. The life of a cheesemaker. You work hard and you play even harder. So,
absolutely.
Awesome.
Well, I really appreciate it, and this was our last episode. This was our season finale. So. Folks, from here on out, you've got you can catch up on the reruns. You can go to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Wisconsin Foodie to check out this past season, and then every other season that we've done for the past decade. Check it out, man. It's I think there was a Widmer's episode, maybe 5 years ago, where we there was a book, the Cheddar book with Gordon Edgar, and we toured some cheese facilities, and we stopped in Widmer's. Widmer's was one of them. So, it's hard for everybody. It's hard for these cheesemakers to escape us. After the 10 years or 14 years we've been doing this, but Joey, we really appreciate you being a part of this, and we look forward to hanging out with you in the future. Hopefully, we can get together at the Pioneer Keg and keep that rolling. Keep the conversation rolling. The R&D development of the new cheese at Widmer's. What was that cheese called? Was it Pecker cheese?
Matterhorn Alpine
No,
cheddar.
not that one. No, I think it was the Pecker cheese. That
the Pecker cheese. Yeah, I think we got something going here.
How did that not get cut in the edit? I just watched
got cut in the edit. It just got put into the credits. So,
Nice.
and I'm sure, and I'm surprised that PBS didn't cut it out of the credits. To be honest with you, it was like I was putting it in there to see if anybody was paying attention, and I guess not. So we went with it.
Somebody had to explain that to their kids at night.
Yeah, exactly. Watch
What
me
does that mean?
Watch me
I
get
want Pecker
canceled
cheese
because of Pecker cheese.
Awesome.
That's great.
Well, thank you guys very much for the opportunity and for featuring our cheese factory and showcasing Theresa, and we appreciate the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Cool. Well, make sure you're stocked up on cheese. I think you're going to have a lot of hungry fans rolling up in there trying to buy you out. And if you're listening to this now, get there quick, buy all the cheese you can, because come Monday, it's going to be gone.
Yeah, we're getting low on brick right now.
I bet you are. Sorry if you have to pull a double shift, Joey. We apologize, but it's going to be worth it in the end. So, thanks again, bud.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Awesome.
Well, Luke, that's it, man. I mean, do we just stop doing the live show, or you want to continue? I mean, should we continue? Maybe we'll ask the folks out there, even though we don't have the special guests from the shows. Do you want to see these two guys each Thursday for a half an hour talking about stuff, talking about the season? You let us know. You can send us an email, message us, chat with us, smoke signals, whatever works. We're listening. Because right now this is actually the most exciting time, is because we just went through yesterday and we set our calendar up for all of the shoots this year. So we've got time blocked out for shoots, and I think it'd be fun to bring you guys on the journey with us, no matter where we are on a Thursday or a Friday. What day is it? It's Friday. It's Friday.
It's Friday.
Yep.
Friday.
So I think it's figuring out the best time for everybody, that when everybody can watch. Maybe we continue this time, keep it consistent. And wherever we are in Wisconsin, we'll pull a live for at least a half an hour, check in with everybody, and tell you what we've been doing, because it is going to be a fun summer. I mean, the things that we've got scheduled, the shows we got scheduled, are going to be awesome. And we really hope that you guys love them. And there's still room for suggestions. So we're always taking suggestions. If you want us to profile a place, or of a good story, please shoot us a message.
Yeah.
If you want Luke's cell phone, I can give you Luke's
No.
cell phone.
I love the fans. I do. But I don't want to answer those phone calls. I have an idea. I actually just want to give a moment of gratitude for all of you for tuning in, and all of the fans who watch Wisconsin Foodie and tune into these live streams and come to our YouTube channel. This is obviously a dream job. I can't say that enough, and I'm going to say it until I'm done. And that's probably going to be when I die. But I mean, this is truly my passion, to be able to talk about and share stories of Wisconsin and bring people up and create stronger bonds of identity. So the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin, thank you so much for your support and contribution. Organic Valley, J. Henry Bourbon, Something Special from Wisconsin, New Glarus Brewing Company, Conscious Carnivore, the Viroqua Food Co-op. What's up, Macy Ray? I saw you have 60 pounds of Widmers in your cheese case right now. So if you're like me in the southwestern part of the state, head on over to the VFC and get your food fix. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, PBS Wisconsin, thank you. Without your support, we would just be other YouTubers and influencers on a platform without this amazing PBS connection. So thank you so much. Central Craft Collective, for all y'all in the middle of the state, thank you. Crossroads Collective in Milwaukee, and of course, the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. Get outside, enjoy this beautiful place, support these companies. We vet them even more than we vet the subjects of this show, because we want so strongly to represent the best ideals in all of us. So thank you so much, all of you. And man, I can't wait to put together with you another Kraken season that makes people laugh, cry, shake their heads and wonder, how did you find this clown to put on camera? Arthur, I gotta say, Easter morning, my teenagers woke me up with a subreddit that said Luke Zom sucks.
You've made it.
I made it. I have made it. Exactly. And it wasn't actually that terrible. It was just who is this guy? Rah, rah, rah. And then so many of the Wisconsin Foodie viewers jumped in to defend me. And I was like, oh man, this is great. But I have to say, and I think this is a testament to the work that you do. We make television that impacts people. I can't go anywhere in this state or even out of the state and not get stopped as the foodie guy. And, I know that everybody that we profile on the show experiences that same level of interaction with the community, with the fans. So thank you. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for watching. Thank you for giving us a platform to share our love. with the food
Well,
and the food makers of the Upper Midwest.
just a couple, before we end here, I just want to, there's a couple of people that are critical and so valuable to this family, and we'd be remiss not to mention them, and that is Nelson Schreiner and Dan Peters, two of our closest family members. I mean, they should be here with us on camera as well. They just they choose not to be. So we are the lucky souls that get to be with you every week, but those two folks mean so much to us. They mean so much to the show. Without them, there'd be no Wisconsin Foodie. Nelson is not just an editor; he's just a fantastic collaborator, fantastic visionary. He's somebody that puts together the show and creates just the most beautiful art with the show each week. And the same with Dan. Somebody that I'm a very stubborn person when it comes to the production of Wisconsin Foodie, and he's been able to, throughout the years, instill some incredible ideas into the show. We've got so the beautiful slow-mo, the drones, all that beauty you see is all Dan, and Nelson. They bring that artfulness to the show, and we couldn't do it without them. We love them so much, and they're just two keys in the cog. Ruthie Zom, Luke's wife, is also very important in many aspects of the business. So there's so many people behind the scenes here. We love them all. And we can't promote them enough. Actually, if we promote them too much, another big company will come steal them. We try not to talk about them too much because we don't want them to leave Wisconsin Foodie. But yeah, they're so valuable. So big shout out to them, and we're going to be going out for dinner soon, guys. I promise. All on Luke.
That sounds great. I mean, have we hit 10,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel yet?
Yeah, we're getting close. I think we're at 9,500.
Okay.
Just remember, hey, subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Wisconsin Foodie. That 10,000th subscriber gets a dinner at the Driftless Cafe, cooked by Luke, shirtless.
What? No. Was that in this year's contract?
No, also, shout out to Jim Chapman. Jim, I think you're with us every week. Really appreciate you. Also,
Cheryl Kuhn.
Cheryl Kuhn, who's been with us every week. We appreciate you guys. We're gonna have to figure out something fun to do with all. We should do an event and bring everybody that watches these together for an event, because if you can sit through a half an hour to an hour of this nonsense, you deserve to eat some good food with us, because that's what we usually have. Like, that's what we have to offer people. We will make sure that you guys are on a list of invitees to a special dinner that we do later this summer.
Yeah, the Owl Farm is almost done, so maybe that's what we do. We invite the super special Wisconsin Foodie fans, those who are interactive, those who do more than their fair share of work promoting, sharing, talking about in social media channels. We really appreciate your support. Thank you so much.
Yep.
And we'd love to get to know you a little bit better. So look out for that.
Awesome. All right, Luke. Well, I'm gonna let you get back on with your Friday. I know you got a bunch of trees to plant for Arbor Day.
Oh, yeah, baby. Are you really?
Right, yeah, man. Just not ash trees. Can't plant those ash. Got to get rid of the ash, unfortunately.
That sounds great.
Yeah, buddy. But take care. Hug a tree. Go Brewers. Hopefully the Packers draft a wide receiver at some point. Hopefully you eat some good food this weekend with your friends. And that's that, brother.
All right, my man. I love you.
Love you.
We'll see you soon.